She's an award-winning YouTuber and best-selling author obsessed with helping you go after the life you want.
I like it.
Join her as she seeks out the stories and strategies
Give me every little detail.
of extraordinary people who found success.
I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God.
Welcome to Detail Therapy with Amy Landino.
Sarah and Jesse, thanks for coming to New York with me.
Hello, thank you for bringing us.
You're welcome.
Never been. Excited.
Jesse, how are you feeling? Big trip, leaving baby at home.
Oh, if I think about it too long, I might cry.
Okay, don't cry. We're just getting started.
It's a blast. I love it.
And mad respect. I know how hard that was, so thanks for making it work.
Thank you.
So basically, I just went to Sarah and Jesse and I was like, you guys, oh my God, I got an interview with Gretchen Rubin.
Gretchen?
Rubin. Exactly. And I was like, I can't fathom a day where I would do this interview without you guys there, because this is literally the only thing. Her methods, her quizzes, her books, just self-analyzation as a whole is all we seem to talk about at brunch. So I just thought, there's no way that we can do this. Just me. You guys have to come with me to New York. You need to figure that out. So I made sure that the interview was on a Friday, so it was a little bit more feasible, and you guys took the days off, and it's just like, I feel so grateful.
I would have taken a Wednesday off. Just let the record show.
Well, okay.
The way I've explained it to
keep that in
folks
mind.
who haven't had the pleasure and thrill of knowing about Gretchen Rubin, she's a major celebrity to us.
Major.
We're
trying not to let her in on that fact until we get there, though, so she will let us come and interview her.
Well, I would also say
I'm trying not to nerd out online too much, so
out.
she's not like, maybe I shouldn't let these freaky ladies come near me.
in my experience, you don't let on how much of a fan you are until you're like 30 minutes in, because that way you've hooked them, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't walk in the door bellows.
We're obsessed with you.
I'm fully expecting bodyguards when we get there.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
I hope
She's
not, because I
letting
really
us
want to
come to her house.
Completely disagree.
We are going to her
Completely
house.
disagree.
I actually think she thinks too highly of us at this point.
No, I think 100% she thinks too highly of us. I think
she knows
will
nothing about us two.
have a dog that she's like, oh, I'm sorry, he barks, and that'll be the extent of the bodyguard.
Totally.
Like, I don't see.
But it'll also be, I'm really sorry I have this dog that barks, but basically everything else in my house is perfect because I am an upholder.
Right.
Maybe one stack of paper she'll apologize for.
I'm going to analyze her upholder apartment and just see what it looks like when things are where they're supposed to be.
Can we just talk
plot
about
twist? What if she's sending us to an apartment that isn't even hers? She's like, we're doing this at my friend Cheryl's.
That would be fine with me. I would be mad respect.
I don't know why
Actually,
you
we're
assume.
going to meet in the hallway.
Yeah. Let's just sit on the stoop. Let's be some
I'm
stoop
not ready
kids.
to introduce you to my
Sesame
children,
Street.
so
Okay.
Can we just talk about what your response was from? Okay, first of all, I have to preface this with, we are so deep in Gretchen Rubin world. If you're listening to this and you don't know basics like the 4 tendencies or any elements of the Happiness Project, we're probably going to sound like we're speaking another self-improvement language. But on that note, Jesse, can we talk about what your response was when I said, not only did I get the interview, like a couple days later, I said, you guys were going to her house. Tell everyone what your response was.
See, this is the thing with audio. You can't see my face.
No, that's fair. And your face is worth seeing, but
Thank you.
You're going to have to explain.
For those that could not see my face, my jaw dropped, my eyes got even bigger, and I was in a grocery store with my 1-year-old, and I saw the text. She's, I'm just giving her random groceries to play with so that she can sit still while I finish groceries, and all of a sudden I saw this text, and I stopped in my tracks. I probably held up a line behind me. I don't even care. And I just gasped.
You actually took a selfie of your gasp and you sent it to the group text.
And my daughter's name's Frankie. Poor Frankie was like, what? What's going on? What's wrong? What's wrong with
Frankie's
Mommy?
like, I want in. I want in on this.
We're about to go to Gretchen's apartment, the one she talks about in her books, in her podcast, and because she brings you into her life. She brings you into her home, and because she lives it. She walks the walk.
So mentally and emotionally, you've already been in that home.
Oh, I know. I feel like I know every square inch of her apartment just from her podcast.
But
and her
my
We should
favorite-
definitely lead with letting Jesse being like, I feel like I already know every square inch of
Show
your
me the
apartment.
closet where you repurposed your closet and added coat hooks. Because
Oh my gosh, I gotta write this down. I'm gonna ask her, where's your empty shelf?
where's your empty shelf?
Where's your empty shelf?
Yes. Where's the?
Oh,
Okay,
this is so niche.
Could we take our picture in front of your empty shelf?
Okay.
Can I see your office?
Motivation. That's a great motivational
Can I see the
selfie.
office that you always clean in the beginning of your day and the end of your day? Because
Also,
that's
Could you walk us
productivity.
through your morning routine, actually?
Yes.
Pretend we're not here. Go about your do.
But we're not obsessed.
Yeah.
Promise.
God, thank God this is not coming out until a later
What
date.
about your night routine? How do you wash your face?
Hold
We'll
on.
Sit here.
Jesse, my favorite part about your response was, wow, her house must be so clean for her to just invite people over for some interview.
Does that say more about Gretchen or Jesse?
And I wrote you back, or I don't know if this was, we talked about it later or something in person, and I was like, she's an upholder.
Makes sense.
You're an obliger.
Yeah, I don't clean my place unless people are coming over because that's just not a good use of my time.
I was going to
think.
say, as an obliger, do you break out in like hives if someone's like, hey, I'm coming over in 10? Like,
No,
what-
let's actually talk about this because we thought at one point we were going to start doing brunches and not spend as much money at restaurants. The three of us wanted to do brunches like at each other's houses, and I could visibly see Jesse going, yeah, but not my house.
'Cause then I have to clean it.
Exactly.
And by cleaning now, I just shove all the toys into one corner and I put a lot of things like in the oven. And
In the oven?
But hopefully not in the oven should you be making brunch, unless it's
good-
food.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Good point.
No, we
See,
We
or-
just
this is why
ate
I
Jesse's
we
sweater.
still get
Yeah.
we still get food made by other people. We just
No, you guys, if you came over, it would be Panera. I'm sorry.
Which, no, don't
which
apologize.
defeats the
That's
purpose of you
fine.
cleaning your house. We should just go to Panera.
Right, but then there are times where it's like, should we be saying these things in public? Or can we just be our loud, normal selves in the
Yes,
comfort
oh,
of our
that's
own
fair.
homes?
Well, quite frankly, when we're talking about the four tendencies and getting happier and like habits,
That's different.
I mean, I think we're socially acceptable. People just don't understand. So the idea for this precast was, why don't we go back and retake the four tendencies quiz? And this was actually Jesse's brilliant idea. How do you envision this working? It's a short quiz, which is makes it really great, but it's also something we could go super in depth on. So how do you think we should go through this?
So the beauty of this quiz is that Gretchen has masterfully picked questions that to you, the listener, whoever's taking the quiz, sound completely normal. The answers are just going to usually just come to you very quickly because of who you are. However, because of upholders, questioners, obligers, rebels, we're all going to probably have different answers. And the answers that Sarah and Amy and I are going to give may sound crazy to you if it's not yours. And so I thought it would just be hilarious because we think we know who we are in the four tendencies. We think we know who we are
Yeah,
in life.
we do.
But it's just going to be so funny to me to see all of your answers and just kind of rap back and forth about how silly your answers sound.
I
Because
know.
I could never think that way.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's your brain. That's the way it is. But I just thought it'd be funny.
And the other thing is that we're one of those chronic quiz takers. All three of us are chronic quiz takers, and we're
This
always
is a safe space. My name is Sarah, and I like to take a lot of
All the know
online
thyself
quizzes.
better.
exactly.
No
I
judgment.
blame Cosmopolitan magazine.
But I like to take a lot of online
17
quizzes.
magazine.
17. So, yeah, I just think we keep coming back to this quiz because, and I'm totally asking Gretchen about this, like, do you get sick of people who are absolutely convinced that their first result was not correct?
Or how close is she to the data anymore? Because I think that was also part of where, like, you had to believe, like, when this quiz first launched, she was probably looking it over constantly, like, oh, we got more obligers. Like, how
Yeah.
often does she even check? Because now it's probably getting taken so many times a day
Right.
by so many people. And
Right.
the information, like, follow up to come when I ask her my questions. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Okay,
It's
so
like the real world. You think you know, but you have no idea. Or is that True Life?
no, that was
Is that
that
real world?
that was Real World, wasn't
Was it Real World?
I
You
never
think
watched
you
True
know,
Life.
but you have no idea.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into the quiz. And for those people who are like absolutely freaking lost, the Four Tendencies quiz is basically a way to find out how you can hold yourself accountable based on the type of person you are, based on how you develop habits, based on how you think, based on how you proceed through life. So if you're trying to figure out how do I build more habits, more good habits, or just achieve more of my goals, leaning into the type of person that you are and trying to figure out how to work with that so you can build those habits is basically what this quiz is trying to show you. That's how I would summarize it. Would you guys add anything else?
That's good.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, so the first question is,
Are we all taking it at the same time?
yeah, so I think what we should do,
Can you
I'll
read
read
the
the question and then you give your answer, final answer, and then we'll talk about it.
Can you read the instructions just so that folks
Sure.
know what we're going into?
Yes, instructions. Consider the following scenarios. Obviously, you might not find yourself in these situations and you might not react exactly as suggested. Choose the answer that sounds like the kind of thing you'd most likely say, do, or think. Choose the answer that seems most generally true for you. Try not to search for exceptions to the rule or focus on one specific area of your life. This is a really challenging part of it. You have to decide that you're choosing the thing that would most often happen in every area of your life, not zero in on one. Make sense?
Also, small addictive quiz taker advice. So one time I learned a hard lesson. I was taking a personality quiz for work, and they got my results back, and they're like, "Sarah, you need to retake this." I was like, "Why?" And they're like, "When did you take this?" And I was like, "Oh, like the week before our major event." And on like a Sunday night after I'd gotten a bunch of other stuff done, and they're like, "You were in too stressed out of a space. It skewed all your answers." So I would just say to anyone taking any quizzes ever online, make sure you're either
Ask
in
your
a normal
doctor.
state.
Maybe they just didn't like your personality. And they're like, take it again.
No, apparently I got
Take
the
it
results. I read them, and it was like, you are a 100% driver. You're so intense. You cannot be a team player. It didn't even sound like me. I was like, oh,
that's a good point.
Going into event week.
Take it into
So
a
I would say
relaxed
just
state.
take it, and then, or like, don't take it like at your desk, rushing through the day. Like, take it at home.
Yeah, that's actually
No, that is
very
really great.
wise advice.
Thank you.
You probably should not take it the way we are about to take it right now.
Right. Don't take it with your friends.
Because
judging
my
your
yes, because my thought process is this might result in a lot of judgment of answers, which could skew your answers. But we have all decided we're going to be 100% truthful to ourselves, so we can talk about this
Safe space.
and share it with all of you. Okay,
Here we go.
here we go. First question. Have you kept a New Year's resolution where you weren't accountable to anyone? A resolution like drinking more water or keeping a journal? Answers. Sure, I'm good at keeping New Year's resolutions, even ones that no one knows about but me. Sure, I'm good at keeping resolutions, but I make them whenever the time is right. I wouldn't wait for the new year. January 1 is an arbitrary date. I've had trouble with that kind of resolution, so I'm not inclined to make one, whether at the new year or anytime. When I'm only helping myself, I often struggle. No, I hate to bind myself in any way. Those are the 4 answers. Mark your answer now. Answers locked. Jesse, you start.
I answered, I've had trouble with that kind of resolution, so I'm not inclined to make one, whether at the new year or at any time. When I'm only helping myself, I often struggle. Totes true.
Yeah.
It's
So what happens, like, if you think...
New Year's resolution time comes around, and I'm like, nope, there's no point. I'm sorry. There's no point because I'm not going to do it.
But if you wanted to do something new, like the final part of this answer is when I'm only helping myself, I often struggle. Mm-hmm. So it really doesn't even matter if it's New Year's or not. Like if you want to do something new, what internal dialogue are you having that's like, I don't know, like I want to do this, but I struggle helping myself.
Is it bad? My first thought's like, that's a really nice thought. I wish I could do it, but I'm just not. So
Yeah.
I won't. So next thought.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm not
So
gonna
like,
do
why
it.
do you feel like that is?
Before Gretchen Rubin,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have attributed it to some sort of laziness.
Okay.
But you guys know me. I'm not lazy.
Right.
I work full time. I have a kid. I do lots of things. I perform comedy. I'm not lazy. But it just felt like laziness because I could never do something that other people... You're going to train for a marathon? You train for a marathon. You just do it. Me, I can say all day I'm going to train for a marathon. Not going to happen, probably. And I thought it was because I was lazy, but really because of Gretchen Rubin, I've learned that I'm just motivated differently. And so unless I'm doing the resolution with a group, with my coworkers, with even Scott, though, my husband, you'll come to find if you learn about obligers and things and four tendencies. Sometimes couples can cancel each other out motivation wise. So I just,
Yeah.
New Year's resolutions just seem like a thing I'm going to fail right off the bat.
So you just take that immediately as the answer and you just
Yeah.
decide not to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Sarah, what was your answer?
I said, sure, I'm good at keeping resolutions, but I make them whenever the time seems right. I wouldn't wait for the new year. January 1 is an arbitrary date. So
So like when someone says resolution, it's like, oh, January's coming, like you resist hard.
I don't necessarily resist. I might make one because if it comes to me, but it wouldn't be because it's the new year. I would probably make it just because, January, I was thinking about doing that anyway. Sure, I'll call it my New Year's resolution, but I was going to do it anyway. So for me, it's more, I like to always have something in the back of my mind that I'm working towards. So I feel like I constantly have resolutions. I probably wouldn't label it resolution, though.
Good answer. Okay. So both good answers because mine's different. I like that we all have different answers. Mine is, sure, I'm good at keeping New Year's resolutions, even ones that no one knows about but me. I actually like not disclosing what I'm working on because I feel like it's more worthwhile to actually do the thing and then tell people I did it instead of this is what I'm working on. Like I hate having that conversation and I absolutely live for the new year. I love a fresh start. I am a nerd
It
for a
is your
fresh start.
favorite.
But you know what? I'll do the same thing on my birthday. Oh, it's my birthday. It's kind of like a new year. Let's do it again. Like I will
Let's bring
take
out that Landino
it-
backdrop.
It's the first of the It's the first of the month. It's a Monday. Like I love that. Love it. I live for it. So
Which
I'm
is
a
kind
New
of
Year's
ironic,
junkie.
though, that you are a helpful resource to people in your community that might be obligers, might be other
Absolutely.
things by saying, like, I remember on New Year's you said, write out your word, write out this. You didn't need to do that for you, but you
Right.
knew other people would
Well, no,
benefit from it.
I definitely wanted to do it for me. I needed to do it for me, and I was still giving it to an audience who, if let's say you guys are my audience and you don't feel the same way about New Year's, you're still absorbing that content from me because that's the energy that I put out, and you just decide what to do with it. You're like, yeah, sure, Amy's doing it, so I guess I like the group. I think I'll do it too, just depending on how you feel. But you're not necessarily driven to start that effort, I think, from your core. If
That
that
makes
makes
sense.
I think.
This one was actually, I know it's the first question, we'll probably have this on a few of them, but I struggled between your answer and my answer because what I liked about your answer is I agreed with people don't need to know.
Yeah.
And so like that was the hard,
one's-
I think that's the thing that happens progressively throughout this quiz is I was like, both of them say sure. And then,
Good start.
Good start. But I was more inclined to be like, well, January 1 is arbitrary than I was to say no one needs to know.
And for me, this is one of the, I think, the few scenarios where this is the perfect answer for me. It's not just kind of right.
Right.
I love New Year's and I love not telling people.
Yeah.
And that I'm latching onto that last part. I think you can still tell people and that you'd still get this answer. But anyway. Number 2, which statement best describes your view about your commitments to yourself? 1, I make a commitment to myself only if I'm convinced that it really makes sense to do it. 2, if someone else is holding me accountable for my commitments, I will meet them. But if no one knows except me, I struggle. 3, I bind myself as little as possible. 4, I take my commitments to myself as seriously as my commitments to other people. Answers, please.
I'm sure. Sure.
Sarah, why don't you start?
Well, this one is hard for me because there's 2 again that I can't necessarily decide between. So maybe we could real time help me decide.
Okay.
Okay.
But I feel like that's not what you're supposed to do, but okay.
Well, I mean, they're both very valid answers, and I
I'm
think
kidding.
I am 80% more one, but I don't
Okay.
know.
Go.
So I have selected right now. I make a commitment to myself only if I'm convinced it makes really good sense to do it.
Okay.
But then I'm teetering because I take my commitments to myself as seriously as my commitments to other people. As we've discussed, I've gotten better at this over the last few years. But I think the reason I am going to go with my first answer, I don't make a ton of, I will not make a commitment to myself unless it's a good idea and I am 100% certain. But then I will hold it up as much as I would to anyone, like for example, going to cycle spin class. I made that commitment to myself. I know I'm going to go 3 to 4 times a week. It's happening. So nothing is going to get in that way. Nothing else will stop it. The same way if I made a commitment to Jesse that we would have weekly coffee, nothing would get, I would keep those on the equal playing field. So I don't.
However.
I don't know.
However.
Okay.
I asked you to go to yoga last week. and I'm not holding this against you. I actually
Oh, yeah.
made a major note of this occasion. I asked you to go to yoga because I
Spoiler, I
thought,
didn't
okay,
go.
you're going to a lot of spin classes. I feel like you need a little flow. So let's go to yoga together. And you said, okay, great, awesome. And then 24 hours before, I was like, are we going to this? And you were like, you know what? I overcommitted. And first of all, you were right because we were leaving that this week and we really didn't have time for an extra class. But you had changed your mind and you had not decided that it made good sense to do it.
Yeah.
So you said, you know what? I overcommitted. I'm going to have to back out. And
That's fair.
a former version of Sarah wouldn't have done that.
That's true.
And I think that makes your first answer correct.
Thank you. Okay, that helps. That experience helps. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Just one example. But,
No, but
and we
it's
can't
true.
zero in on one thing, but that's what I've been observing of you.
Yeah.
Jesse, what was your answer?
I feel like y'all know me now.
It's been one.
So, like y'all, meaning your listeners. If someone else is holding me accountable for my commitments, I'll meet them. But if no one knows except me, I struggle.
So in other words, you're willing to get on a plane and be really devastated leaving your daughter because two people are counting on you to get on that plane with us. But
I assume Gretchen is counting on me.
yes, Gretchen also. Of
She's
course.
been texting me
Yes.
nonstop this morning. about you.
So I'll use the workout class example.
Okay.
So at work, we have a rec center, and we have these 30-minute boot camps. And I have convinced a bunch of my coworkers to do these with me because it's fun. And but
There
if
weren't
they
air
do-
quotes.
but if they decide, oh, it's too busy of a day, I'm too tired, it's raining, let's not go, I am more likely not to go.
Like, even if all of them don't go, or
I mean,
if
sometimes
just one
I will.
goes, will you go?
Sometimes I will, just because I also know the trainer. Her name is Grace, and I don't want to let her down.
Yeah.
But yeah, if my coworkers aren't going, then it's so easy for me to be like, you know what? It is a busy day. You're right. It is raining. Let's just not. Let's go get lunch instead.
Yeah.
Instead of working out. I love Zumba. I love dancing classes, but I can't get myself to go to them.
Yeah.
Unless I'm probably meeting somebody there, or even the whole but if you buy it, you'll go. Nope, that don't work for me.
No, the money thing always.
Yeah,
gets
I
you.
agree. I think that's how gyms are making so much money because most people
No.
think if I buy
No,
it,
that
I'll
doesn't
go.
work for me.
But they don't
I feel-
really think about it.
I get depressed about it. Like, well, crap, that was $40 of classes I won't ever use, and they expired.
I shame myself so hard if I buy something and then don't use it.
Yeah.
I'll get more upset
hard.
if I let down somebody who I was going to meet there, or
Yeah.
so that's mine.
That's another interesting topic.
What? Money?
Just because I'm a member at that yoga studio I was
Yeah.
just talking about, and it's because my friend owns it, and they were doing like an unlimited yoga deal, and it was going to go up forever, and it was like if you buy by this date, it's X number of dollars per month forever, unlimited yoga, and I was like, this is great, and I've been like one time since I bought it. I probably bought it like 3 months ago. I don't feel bad at all because I think, well, I've got a yoga membership, which is fabulous. I like that guy, and I like that studio, and I'm supporting the community.
See,
So I just kind of just go, I'll go.
it has been in me since college. Some stupid person that I won't even call a friend because I don't remember their name, but they were sitting next to me in class, and they're like, I just did the calculations, and if you miss one class, this is how much it's going to cost you, blah, blah, blah. Never missed a class in college, not a once,
Wow.
ever.
See, I
Ooh,
never
that's
missed
a good way of
class.
putting it.
Because I was just like, well, that's a lot of money, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to play that game because then I should have just gone out and bought a laptop, whatever.
You know why I never missed class in college? Because I didn't want to let the professor down.
See, this is a great theme.
My gosh.
I didn't want.
I didn't go to class unless I was like, school. But school's one of those ones where I'm like, I don't think I can use this because it's a little bit of an exception to the rule situation.
No,
I was such a rebel in school.
I was on scholarship, and I felt beholden to that. But then also, I didn't want to what if the professor noticed I wasn't there?
Yeah.
And
that,
they would. Like you
this-
were a memorable person.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, you really make
I
yourself
was not
stand out.
assuming the professor would know. I was just like,
I was
my
an
mom
awesome
and dad will
student.
be so mad at me for wasting money.
Oh my God. Okay, so here was my answer to the question. I take my commitments to myself as seriously as my commitments to other people.
3 different answers again, T.
I know. And I just feel that I don't feel I sometimes here's where I thought for a long time that I was like, I'm a questioner. because of things like I make a commitment to myself only if I'm convinced that it makes really good sense to do it. I was answering that not as an overall answer. I was answering it in my business. I was doing so much in my business, and it was the majority of my time when I first discovered this quiz that I was like, a lot of people tell me what to do in my business, and I push back on it really hard. I don't push back on people as hard in other areas of my life. So I just believe that I take my commitments as seriously as for myself as other people. I take my own commitments very seriously, but if I tell somebody I'm going to do something, I come through. And if I don't, I have like utter remorse over it. Like a lot.
I was trying to think. Yeah, I don't think there's ever been really a time you've canceled. In terms of like, unless it was like a week or two out where you were like, hey, can we reschedule?
Yes.
But I've never had you be like, day of,
I'm changing my mind.
cancel.
Yeah.
If anything, you would maybe reschedule or cancel with us because you're like, I really have to finish this thing.
Yeah.
But it's for my audience, or it's for...
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
have to finish this thing for work. I have to launch this thing. And it's so funny because I'm like, wow, she did it. She just said it. Where me, I probably would like, you know what? I'll just stay up till midnight and just do it. But, you know, I don't want...
But I've actually been finding I'm leaning toward that a lot more. Like, I'm not
I would
staying
rather
up,
put
not staying
myself
up till
out than
midnight,
other-
but
yeah.
like, okay, fine. I told the girls I'd go to dinner, so we're going to go to dinner, and then I'm going to go to bed at a reasonable hour, and I'm going to wake up an hour earlier
This
tomorrow.
is
and I'm gonna
funny
get this
because I
done.
feel like in our course of our friendship over the last few years, we're all kind of shifting a little bit. Like, because I used to be exactly like that, Jesse. Like, I would be like 100%, I will be up till 2 a.m. And now I'm somewhere in between the two of you, but now Amy's shifting more towards you. Like, we're all kind of cycling.
It's really
through.
weird. Okay, let's
Next
go to the
question.
next question. At times, we feel frustrated by ourselves. Are you most likely to feel frustrated because, 1, my constant need for more information exhausts me. 2, as soon as someone expects me to do something, I don't want to do it. 3, I can take time for other people, but I can't take time for myself. 4, I can't take a break from my usual habits or violate the rules even when I want to.
Answer locked.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
How do you guys read my constant need for more information exhausts me?
Absorption of data in order to be able to make a decision.
So, like, even if it were, like, it's like the maximize or satisficer thing. Like, if I wanted to buy red shoes, but I want to make sure I looked at 8 stores before I bought the red shoes.
And you're not sure what shade of red or
Gotcha.
yes.
Oh my God, that's so much.
Yes.
Ugh.
The need for data to make the decision.
Okay.
That's how I read that. You
I feel
set?
I feel like that's Scotty.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go first.
I was going to say, it's your turn.
I'll go first. I can't take a break from my usual habits or violate the rules even when I want to. That feels the most connected to me. I don't need that much data to make a decision, so the information thing doesn't exhaust me. So a little bit of sometime when someone expects me to do something, I don't want to do it.
Sorry, I don't know.
That's
why.
all right.
That's coffee.
The coffee machine is very important. The coffee
It's
machine
very
moved.
loud.
And then, yeah, so maybe my backup would be as soon as someone expects me to do something, I don't want to do it. Because part of that stems from if someone asked me to do something and I was already planning to do it, it gets me upset that somebody else told me to do it because I was already thinking about doing it. And that's like my rebel moment hard. But if someone expects me to do something, it's usually because I said I was going to do it. So I don't feel like I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? So I think my answer is I can't take a break from my usual habits. And the reason I picked this also is because I have a super tightening problem. Gretchen talks about tightening in the sense that when you start a habit, you refuse to like not do it. Well, let's go back to like the food example. You know how they say if you log what you eat every day, that you're more likely to just be self-aware and you might not eat as much, or it doesn't even matter the other benefits. It's just basically, it's a good idea to track your food. I will download the MyFitnessPal app, and I will start logging things. And if I go to a restaurant and I get like an egg frittata or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, but I don't know what they put in it. I don't know what additional ingredients are in here.
I didn't eat out
so
all of
if
Whole30.
I log it, it's not going to be correct.
Yeah.
The calories aren't going to be correct. The carbs aren't going to be correct.
So what?
That's the problem. So I won't.
where I'm at. I'm like,
so I won't log it because I'm like, I will log it, but then I'm like, well, this whole day is basically a crapshoot because that is probably not accurate.
and
so
but then I won't go out to
logging
eat.
it.
I won't go out to eat in those situations.
I will continue to go out to eat.
yeah.
I will quit the
Girls.
logging
No.
because it's not a habit. I'm tightening.
like all of Whole30, people are like, you can go out and eat. And I was like, no, because it's not accurate. I can't gauge. I just didn't.
Yeah.
Little girls.
Whole30, like you have to be very high maintenance when you go out to eat.
Right.
I
No,
feel
but I
that.
just mean like anything with
was.
restrictions.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
But like, I just
Yeah.
won't do it.
Yeah. So that's why I think that's my right answer.
All right, which
Jesse?
way do you want to send it?
I just laugh because we've had this conversation how I'm pretty sure I'm a obliger but lean rebel because my gut answer is I can take time for other people but I can't take time for myself. For those out there,
Does that frustrate you? Like, that's the answer to that question. Is that frustrating to you?
that was my gut check because it's true. At the end of the day, again, I have a 1-year-old, so at the end of the day, I'm exhausted, and at the end of the week, you could be exhausted, and you're like, did I take any time for me? And probably if you're like me, the answer is
Oh, super. We're going to have a fire drill. You got to be kidding me.
No, thank you.
yeah, I can take time for other people, but I can't take time for myself. That's the story of my life, right? I want to go to yoga and Zumba and take walks and naps, but I won't.
Not to sound the
So
alarm.
annoying.
I don't
We might have to
pants
keep going.
on.
Yeah.
I don't have
So
my
if it
actual
happens
pants
again,
on. I
just-
can't go out.
But what's so funny,
don't go
when you talked about like logging your food, I feel like my rebel came out because my second choice was as soon as someone expects me to do something, I don't want to do it. Like the whole logging of food thing, that sounds like too much structure and rules. And that's why I was like, just put the egg frittata in the thing. Who cares?
Yeah.
Just, you kind of logged it. That's good. Or not, and don't. And let's just eat egg frittatas.
That's fair.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Sarah, what was your answer?
I answered the same way you did, Amy. I can't take a break from my usual habits, violate rules, even when I want to. If I make a rule for myself, even if it makes no sense, which has led to unhealthy habits in the past, I can't break it. I have to stick to it. Routine is everything for me. So I think that can go on a spectrum for me from obsession to healthy, but yeah, it's like not even a choice. And I will lie awake in bed at night if I misstep and probably judge myself for it.
I totally get that in you. Okay. Let's move on to the next
I
question.
gotta make up time.
Question 4. When you formed a healthy habit in the past, what helped you stick to it? 1. I'm pretty good at sticking to habits even when no one else cares. 2. Doing a lot of research and customization about why and how I might keep that habit. 3. I could stick to a good habit only when I was answerable to someone else. 4. Usually I don't choose to bind myself in advance to a particular course of action.
I don't feel confident that that fire station is coming for us.
I don't think so either.
It's just New York. And not the whole station doesn't come to you, but the engine. Okay.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I don't
was
know
the
how
whole
fire
station.
works. It's hot. Okay.
Sarah.
Am I up first?
Yes.
I'm pretty good at sticking to habits, even if no one else cares. So I feel like this is a quick, easy answer. Kind of the other ones have answered
And it's
for
the
it.
same for me. I don't have to do a lot of research and
Research almost annoys me. Like there hits a point to
I
me
need
where I
like
need a
one
break.
thing. If I've heard one thing that's like, oh, X helps you with Y, I'll be
Yeah.
like, done.
Done.
Let's go.
But I don't want to keep digging.
Yeah.
Like there have been times where I have to take a break from books on self-help because I get too oversaturated. I'm like, okay, I've made my decision. I don't need to keep
Totally.
hearing about you from. Yeah.
Totally.
Jesse?
So I'm going to deviate from my obligers.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, usually I don't choose to bind myself in advance to a particular course of action. Y'all know me.
Yeah.
I don't like to be. So a lot of my coworkers also do personal training at our work because it's like $5 a session. And they're like, you should do it. You know, if you need an accountability partner. And my first thought is like, ew, gross. I have to be somewhere
Nope.
at the same time every week. And like, what if I just don't want to do it that day?
Wait, can I ask a question though? What's an example of a healthy habit that you already have or you have formed in the past? Frankie eats a banana every day.
Frankie does eat a banana every day
Why does Frankie eat a banana every day?
because I want her to eat a banana before daycare because if they're late at breakfast, I don't want her starving. Like, I don't want her to wake up
So would you
starving.
ever skip the banana if it was like a crazy morning and things were insane and she woke up and she was definitely hungry and crying?
No.
Interesting.
That's because like
Maybe it might be a handful of Fruit Loops, but I'm going to put something in her belly.
yeah.
Right, you'll always give her something.
Yes, I'm not going to, I'd feel terrible if she woke up starving.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, when they're like, when you formed a healthy habit in the past, it's really hard for me to come up with one.
That's what I mean. I feel like the ones that you have are associated with other people.
Yeah, but okay.
Well,
But it's hard for me to come up with one.
yeah.
Right.
Is that bad?
No,
It's bad.
not.
My people out there will know
PSA
what I
for
mean.
anyone taking this: there's no bad answers.
My people out there will know what I mean.
No
Yeah.
bad, no
Yeah,
right or
I
I've
know,
wrong.
never
'cause
trained
it's
for a
easy to,
marathon.
like-
I've never rode Pelotonia, and I've never.
I'm thinking of doing
But
that this year.
but you do have healthy habits when it comes to raising Frankie.
Right.
Like now maybe she's the exception, so I'm probably going too hard on this.
Well, that could also be me just my identity as a mom. Like I take that serious. But
Yeah, you
like
do.
making me go to a personal training session every Monday at 8 a.m. No, making me log all my food. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to want to do that. So
Okay, question. And that siren is getting so annoying, so I'm really sorry, everybody. But
Welcome to New York.
if you are the yoga class thing, the rec center thing, like if your coworkers said they were going to be there, would you go if suddenly you changed your mind, you didn't want to go?
There has been times where
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? No, I'm just not feeling it. No, I just
But
don't want to.
I think on the flip side too, this is what makes you a very good adaptable. It is getting closer. It's fine, guys. We're still in the building.
I can't believe how close it's getting. This is so annoying.
Are we on fire?
No,
You say that like you know.
I don't.
I feel like it's either going to pass it.
No, it's here. But they didn't evacuate us, which leads me to believe it's like the
They don't
fire's
care about
out
us.
and they're doing some clean check.
Or they don't care about us.
I can't believe this. They are totally here. You guys. And there's like 3 hotel guests who did leave.
No, listen, the woman on the phone told me that they will let us know if we need to evacuate. She will give us an update. We did not get that update.
These firefighters
I
do
say
not
we
look
sit.
like they are in a hurry.
Guys, exactly. I think there was a fire, probably a kitchen fire, maybe the oven. We got it under control, but per regulations, we still need to
Okay,
come
now-
get it checked.
Criminy, this is awful.
Their
Okay.
urgency is not my emergency. All right.
Or is it?
So that's me.
Yeah.
So that's why my I'm like 50-50. I could stick with a good habit only when I was answerable to someone else. 50%. Usually I don't choose to bind myself in advance to a particular course of action. That could also be because I am an obliger and I don't want to sign up for something and then have to drop it because someone else needs me.
But I would say in the moment, that is part of what I think makes you one of the best people to like travel with or go on a project with, because you're very malleable. Like you can pivot, like because you're not going in completely like mindset. We're going to do this, this, and this. So I mean, there's a flip side to
It's
it.
good for everyone else, not me.
Yeah.
I would agree. I'm a great friend to everyone else, but not myself.
All right. Question number 5. If people complain about your behavior, you'd be least surprised to hear them say, 1, you stick to your good habits, ones that matter only to you, even when it's inconvenient for someone else. 2, you ask too many questions. 3, you're good at taking the time when others ask you to do something, but you're not good at taking time for yourself. 4, you only do what you want to do when you want to do it.
I think it's Jesse's turn to answer first.
Y'all know. You're good at I think people would be least surprised, right? Or no, sorry.
Yep. The complaint that you'd be least surprised to hear about your behavior.
That I'm good at taking time when others ask me to do something, but I'm not good at taking time for myself.
Have you heard people actually say that about you or say that to you?
Yeah. You guys.
Yeah.
And Scotty.
Pray
Scotty had
tell.
to, you guys, like I loved the idea of this trip, but my heart was torn about leaving Frankie, and Scott told me, go. Go. You have to go. Not one night, 2 nights. Go.
Yeah.
That's prime
Yeah, because we
example.
were considering doing one quick night,
Hop, skip, and a jump.
so that we could get you back to Frankie. But props to Scotty. Thanks, Scotty.
Yeah.
My answer is I stick to good habits, ones that matter only to me, even when it's inconvenient for someone else. I get that from my husband all the time. Like
Yeah.
it's not that he doesn't appreciate my good habits. I think he appreciates a lot of things about that, but or it's just like if he wants to do something and I'm like, I literally can't do that. I can't sleep in on a Monday. I can't go with you to that thing because on Wednesdays at 4:00 I always do this. Like
That's crazy to me.
that's for sure like what I would say. Like and then it becomes like like this, you should know this about me at this point.
Yeah.
Kind of like mentality, but I have to put that away because that's ego. Even if it's inconvenient, I stick with my habit.
That's fascinating. I don't mean to say crazy like in a judge
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Like
no,
that's
it's fine.
crazy. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you just say?
It's just-
no. I'm gonna do it because I want to do it, and then people get hurt and
I
sad.
think if I'm being completely honest, I think it's over time I've seen the benefit of doing the thing I wanted to do. I've also seen the benefit of going with my gut.
Well, and also I think that's a perfect example of, say you broke a habit to yourself and you really wanted, because this is more often me. I will have that habit, but then might put someone else first. So I'm not sticking to my own routine. And then I go to that thing just because I don't want to make them mad at me or I don't want to hurt their feelings. But then I'm not my best self at that thing because my mind does not want to be there. Emotionally, I do not want to be there. I'm not there for my own intentions. And so they get a kind of half era. And so I think that's where I actually was torn between both of your answers, because by nature, I'm much more leaning towards Jesse's answer. But as I'm continuing to challenge myself and be the best version of myself, I'm going more towards Amy's answer, just because I'm realizing in those situations, I show up at half full and then I get totally depleted. And I only went because I was so scared that someone was going to be disappointed, not like me, talk about me, all the wrong motivators. So I ultimately answered the same way Jesse did. But this is also my least favorite thing to hear. I hear it a lot from my husband because usually when people say this sentence to me, they're like, you should take a Saturday and get a massage or sleep in or do all these things. You need to
so
relax.
condescending.
And one, it's condescending. And two, that's not how I refuel.
Yeah.
So for someone to tell me like
Exactly.
you need to take time for yourself, which means not seeing other people and means doing this, and they outline like self-care. That's not my self-care. Right. Getting a massage, taking a day and sleeping in and binge watching on Netflix will make me feel so much worse. It will not make me feel better. So everyone always does that. And so that's why this answer was hard for me, because I do get this a lot. People say this to me. You're good at taking time for others, but not for yourself. But my way of taking time for myself is not going to look like how you take time for yourself.
That's funny.
So
That's the same thing with moms, right?
Yeah.
Like, you should go get a massage. Like, oh, you want to really help me out? Take my kid and so I can go take a nap.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes for me, taking time for myself might look like I'm going to go to a brunch with someone I haven't seen in a while. That's me time if that person's going to fill me up. Or time for myself might be like, Kevin and I are going to drink a bottle of wine and stay home. But it's not, I need a massage.
Right. Question 6. Which description suits you best? 1. Disciplined, sometimes even when it doesn't make sense. 2. Asks necessary questions. 3. Puts others, clients, family, neighbors, coworkers first. 4. Refuses to be bossed by others. This is tough for me. I mean, I would like to say that it's asks necessary questions, but I know it's not, because I'm a rule follower. So I think I'm super disciplined, sometimes even when it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I really do.
I would answer that way for you.
Mostly because I don't want to spend extra brain space on something. And oftentimes I end up looking stupid because I do something just because I thought it was the right thing to do. And it was like, if you would have added a couple other levels of common sense, you would have been like, no, it says don't walk across the street, Amy. But the thing is, all the lights are broken and you didn't take a look around
And
to
there's
see
no
if all
cars.
the
There's
lights
no
were
cars coming, and you could totally do it.
Yeah. That's me.
Yeah.
Sarah?
I am definitely 90% puts others first. I think I have a 10% discipline thing, because there are definitely habits I have where my husband will look at me and be like, that makes no sense. There's no reason we have to unload the dishwasher so we come home to nothing on the counter. There's really no reason. Like those kind of moments where I get very I don't like leaving the house if I know that there's that under 1 minute task we can get done.
Yep.
And I will have 10 under 1 minute tasks I would like to get done before we leave the house so that we come home to a cleaner house. So, fun fact about me.
Yeah.
And it drives Kevin a little crazy. And so I think
wanna
that's...
come over sometime?
Yeah, 100%. My least favorite thing is to leave on a trip and come home to a dirty place.
So relatable. I
Like,
will
I
not leave the
cannot.
house unless I'm coming home to like a safe haven that smells delightful.
We make the bed every day.
Absolutely.
I just can't. So that was why I'm like, disciplined. And half the time that doesn't make sense because it really doesn't matter. No one else is coming home to this place but me. But for the most part, if like I ever get that midnight text from anyone, if there's ever an emergency, friends, family, coworkers, somebody I just might have met a minute ago, they probably come first.
Jesse?
I refuse to be bossed by others.
Yeah.
Did you guys see me saying that?
Well, yeah, and you made me check the fire alarm. Whatever. Just because maybe I did it with the coffee
I'm not
machine.
gonna let that fire alarm tell me.
You evacuate the building fire alarm.
No, you guys know. If somebody asks me to do something, I'll probably do it. But if they tell me what to do, I immediately want to do the opposite. I didn't even know I wanted to do the opposite until you told me not to do it.
I 100% see that. Yeah. And now I only tell you the opposite of what I think I actually
That's fine.
want. It's
Jesse,
manipulative.
don't work out so much.
Yeah.
God, stop.
Okay, I think this is the last part of the quiz because I think the very last page is actually asking you for your information. This is like rapid fire, and this is tend to disagree, neutral, or tend to agree. So we're going to do these rapid fire too, okay? Not a lot of explanation. People have gotten to know us at this point.
Yes.
First, people get frustrated with me because if they ask me to do something, I'm less likely to do it, even if they're a boss or a client. Tend to disagree, neutral, tend to agree.
Disagree.
Jesse?
I don't know.
I think this is the same thing you just answered. Wouldn't it be tend to agree for you?
Yeah, okay.
You literally just said you won't be. Yeah.
And I say tend to disagree. I do what I think makes the most sense according to my judgment, even if that means ignoring the rules or other people's expectations.
I think it depends on the scenario, so I'm going to go neutral, which I don't usually like answering neutral on these.
Same.
But I'm going to go neutral because if the other people's expectations is my boss,
yeah.
I can't be like, I'm going to go with my gut. Like, I will have moments of pause. But
Yeah.
for the most part, if my judgment says don't do it, then I won't do it. So I would lean towards tend to agree. I'm going neutral.
I'm saying tend to disagree because, yeah, I follow the rules. I already said that.
I said agree.
Commitments to others should never be broken, but commitments to myself can be broken. Disagree, neutral, agree.
Agree.
Disagree.
Disagree. Sometimes I won't do something I want to do because someone wants me to do it. Disagree, neutral, agree.
Wait, okay, so
Sometimes I won't do something I want to do because someone wants me to do it.
disagree.
I'm going to go with neutral.
I'm agree on that one.
Wait, so give me an example of this.
Yeah.
This is what I just said. If someone asks me to do something and I was already planning on doing it, it makes me not want to do it because it pisses me off that they think they came up with it first. So that's why I say sometimes that's the case for me.
Gotcha, but if somebody asked
Or
me to
if-
say I was going to a coffee shop this morning.
Okay.
And then Jesse was like, Sarah, you want to go to a coffee shop? I would still go.
That's not what I mean. I mean in more like meaningful things.
Okay, give me an example.
I'm giving examples of like you should go buy that person a birthday present. Like, yeah, no kidding. I was already planning on doing that. Like, don't
So
tell
would
me.
you still
what I
buy
should
the
do.
present though?
Absolutely.
So I would too.
But it pisses me off that someone told me to do it because it's like, you think I didn't have that covered?
But this is saying you wouldn't then buy the present. The way this question is worded.
I think this is for rebels.
No, it's saying I won't. Sometimes I won't do something. It's a better example in my business.
Okay.
A lot of people try to give me business advice, and I think like, dude, if I thought that was a good idea for my business, I would have been doing it by now.
Got it.
So birthday
I just
present's
don't know
probably
how
not
I
the
should have
best
answered
example.
this question. I feel
Well, no,
like
it's not a
to
matter
just-
of should. It's a matter of what
No,
your
but I
gut
don't
is.
know what I feel like it's a weirdly worded question for me. I need like an actual Sarah example to know how I would answer.
This is one of the anomalies for me. That's why I said agree, because I know that this rebellious piece of me pops up sometimes.
Okay. Anyway, next
That's all.
question.
I've sometimes described myself as a people pleaser. Disagree, neutral, agree.
Agree.
I think I'm neutral on that. I don't know how to say that. I don't think I'm a people pleaser, but I definitely think I do it sometimes.
That's so funny. Like, this is the one you get hung up on.
Yeah, I
Where
don't
me,
know.
I'm like totally.
Yeah.
1,000% people pleaser.
This is me.
All
Unless you
right.
tell me what to do and then no.
I don't mind breaking rules or violating convention. I often enjoy it. Disagree.
Agree.
Neutral.
Rules, schmools.
Okay.
So there's 4 tendencies. Upholders meet outer expectations and meet inner expectations. Obligers meet outer expectations and resist inner expectations. rebels, resist outer expectations and inner expectations, and questioners, resist outer expectations and meet inner expectations.
The questioner breed and the obliger breed are the highest population. The smallest population is rebels. And the second smallest is upholders. Upholders is still a pretty small group of people.
My immediate thought when you said rebel was like, that would be hard.
Yeah.
I just feel
seriously.
like being a rebel would be so hard.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys think I'm what?
Questioner.
Okay.
I thought you were maybe upholder
Okay.
because your rules,
What's
schmools.
what's Jesse?
Jesse's an obliger.
Jesse's an obliger. What's Sarah? I think Sarah's a questioner.
I think Sarah's a questioner now.
What?
Yeah, I really think
I don't know.
your answers were questioner to me.
You were
Oh,
picking
fresh.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know where
that was
that
a really adorable
I don't even know.
censorship there. Yeah, I did. You're showing super. In my opinion, you're showing super.
Or was that because I was
questioner
asking a lot?
tendencies.
I did ask a lot of follow-up questions.
A lot. Yeah, this podcast went a little long.
Sorry. Sorry.
All right, go ahead. Show your results. And Jesse, you go first.
No surprise, I got obliger. And the tagline with that is I do what I have to do. I don't want to let others down, but I may let myself down. Truth, truth, truth.
How do you feel?
I mean, sometimes it doesn't feel good to be an obliger.
Yeah.
Because it's you're holding a mirror up and you can sometimes feel like a doormat. You can sometimes feel like a pushover because you put others first. And to my obligers out there, try not to get too down about it because we're also great friends. We're great bosses. We're great parents. Everyone, loves us because we're there for them. But we're just not really great friends to ourselves. But now that we have this quiz, we know that we are motivated externally. So let's just move forward with
And
that.
that's what it's all about. No matter what everyone's results are, it has to do with what you do with this information, not putting yourself in a compartment that means, oh, I'm stuck in this world. I might as well not even try. It's about figuring out what it means to be this person or this type of tendency and how you can work with it. Sarah, what'd you get?
I got upholder.
Okay.
I do
Makes
what
sense.
others expect of me and what I expect of myself. So, as much as I wanted to get it divergent and break the system, I do resonate with this one.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty spot on. I do, and I know her book talks about the tipping points and that you can be a little bit of all the other things. But I do think it's the most accurate for me.
Same here. I got upholder. I do what others expect of me and what I expect of myself. Meets outer expectations, meets inner expectations. And I think that the big thing to say here is like when they summarize this, it's meets or resists. And I think resists is a really important word because it doesn't necessarily mean you don't ever do something. It just means you feel something internally that makes you want to resist. So in the case of Jesse with the obliger, it's resists inner expectations. But you have inner expectations of some things. It's just a matter of how you've qualified them somehow in your brain to do them. It's not that you literally don't do anything. And same thing with rebel. If you resist outer and inner, it basically sounds like, do you even know what you're having for lunch that day? So but it's not like that. There are still things that rebels do every single day that are habitual, that they do, that they've made a decision on, but they will resist certain things. So anyway, super
I also think
interesting.
it's interesting with upholders, and probably on the obliger thing it says this too, that they are able to rely on others' expectations, but they also struggle if expectations aren't clear. I wonder if obligers, like, do you struggle if it's like you don't have a clear understanding of what the expectation is?
No, I don't think I care about details like you guys do.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think I do.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I didn't expect that of you.
Yeah. And I, you guys heard my questions. I think I'm obliger with a little bit of rebel. And so we are well
Balance.
we are well represented.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, this
cover
is
the spectrum.
super interesting. Great idea, Jesse. Thank you so much. Now it's time to go and actually have this conversation with Gretchen because we're going to be coming in hot with this information.
I'm gonna have a lot of expectations for her. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I have a lot of expectations.
Really help me hold her accountable, okay?
How about
Really
you guys let
have
me do
fun.
the talking in the beginning because I'm a people pleaser and I will just.
What happens when 3 upholders and an obliger sit on a podcast? You have to tune in to find out.
Oh my God. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. If people want to support you on your socials, where can they find you guys?
On Instagram at Jessie Jones 1.
Awesome. I'm also on Instagram at McCain, MCCAIN. Me crazy.
And I'm Schmatastic. Thanks for listening.
This has been Schmatastic.
Yes. See you on the next one.
Bye, guys.